So People is an American publication, basically published with all these like loved up photos that seem a little stilted.
Yeah.
And again, you know, William and Kate are trying to emulate Harry and Meghan after the entire royal institution shat on them for 3 years for doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
In an American publication.
Yeah. Because they want to conquer America.
Because they want to conquer. I was trying to get you to say what you said yesterday.
I don't remember.
Which is they copy it because it's effective.
Oh,
so it's
well, yeah, they copy
a
it
cycle.
because it's effective. Yeah, they bash, and then
they steal.
Harry and Meghan sort of, you know, blow them off and come to the United States and are incredibly successful at what they're doing. And so then they try and copy it. Badly. Yeah.
It's
because it's the whole thing. I think the whole thing comes back to insincerity. Everything. All these issues are just, it's because it's insincere. The PDA is insincere. The hopping around from, you know, here's what we really care about is insincere. The, you know, hosting these awards or whatever is insincere because it's all becomes me. I think it's all
the same problem.
The same problem flows throughout all of it.
Well, and I say that I've seen Kate likes sports. I have said this so many times. I don't know why they just don't give her patronage of like every single children's sports charity in the UK. Yeah. She lights up. You can tell that's something she cares about. I have never, ever, ever seen Prince William light up about anything. Not one thing.
Yeah. I don't think I think he's trying so hard to pretend he cares about a lot of different things that he doesn't even know what he really cares about, if anything.
Well, and I think, you know, going back to topics I talk about a lot, you know, they get married, they're allowed to stay part-time so he can, you know, not fake work. I mean, he was a helicopter pilot. He just didn't do it very often. Yeah. And they were never kind of forced to find, like, basically, I think some kind of natural laziness and some natural kind of, we deserve adulation regardless of what we do, wasn't beaten out of them. And it should have been beaten out of them. And now we're left with this.
Well, but I think that's hard because I think the whole royal family is struggling and has struggled for, I don't know how many tens and hundreds, or, I mean, a lot of this fame stuff is kind of more recent.
Yeah.
20th century. But I mean, I think the vein of adore us because of who we are is deep and long-standing. Yes. And I don't think I mean, it kind of goes back to something we talked about a long time ago, and the whole thing with the Queen after Princess Diana died, and that it took her a week to figure out she had to say something, and I still am not sure that she was entirely convinced, at least initially, that that's the right thing to do. And because it's not only like adore us for who we are, it's just we can do whatever we want and you shouldn't criticize us.
Yes.
I mean, it seems to be the vein running through long and deep, and with all of them, at least those that are born to it.
Yeah. Well, and they just came out this week saying they're gonna take a little time off to spend more time with their kids.
That's what they were doing.
No, after they did 2 events last week.
Oh.
Which is an insult to like every working parent. Right. We did 2 things last week. Now we gotta take some time off because we'd be shitty parents if we didn't. Yeah. Well, it's just ridiculous.
They're just regrouping before they conquer America.
Oh, they're getting strategies in place. Yeah. But it's just, I think that was more accepted for like the older crowd, right? The Queen's old, yeah, she thinks, and she's the monarch, yeah, she should, that kind of deference, adore me. And then with Charles, it was expected a little less, and now with his son kind of being so old-fashioned in that, like, adore me, you're lucky if I show up.
But that's the problem. They are old-fashioned.
I know.
And I mean, that's sort of the whole contrast there is they're old-fashioned. They seem to have to be pulled out of that kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And even when I think Harry and Meghan were kind of, doing it right and showing them the way, so to speak, they just can't quite bring themselves to do that. And so they keep, being old-fashioned and stuck in the mud. And, eventually that'll, if they can't actually figure out some way to pivot from that, eventually, I don't see how that it continues in its current form indefinitely.
Well, and they're going to lose the Queen. And that's a big problem.
Well, yeah.
And I mean,
and maybe soon.
Yeah, and maybe sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, probably sooner rather than later. She's 95 years old.
Well, okay. But, her mom lived 102.
Well, that's true. But that even 7 years is...
Not necessarily that long.
Not that long.
But the Queen and what she brings really to the table now is a shield. A titanium shield for them. They won't go after her. Babies and grandmas. Can't go after babies and grandmas. And they're going to lose that shield.
Yep.
And no one is going to care anywhere near as much about Charles or William.
No.
And that's a big problem.
No. Because they won't have obviously they're not, neither of them is going to be the monarch for 70 years.
Yeah.
And they won't have started... she got to start at a place where people were, it was kind of a shocking thing. It was it was sudden, and she was young, and they felt bad that she was thrown into this. So she got every benefit of the doubt at first, appropriately, because she got thrown into this
at
when
25,
she was 25 years old. And so, so the people who grew up with in that era, had fondness that got passed, that kind of built, and now she's been the monarch so long. Most people in Britain don't have much of a memory of anyone else being the monarch.
You didn't silence your cell phone for the...
No, sorry. So, I think she just has this reserve built up that no one else could.
No.
Because no one else. It's hard to envision, at least in the next 100 years, anyone being the monarch for 70 years. Yeah. It just is unlikely.
Well, and especially for the first couple decades of her reign, they had much more of a stranglehold on the press. On newspaper press,
time. And
so it's no one was recording little podcasts, taking cheap shots at her from their office.
And there weren't 3,000 TV outlets and podcasts and Twitter and social media and it was a different time.
But it gave her a reserve that no one else is going to get and will leave with her.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't even that petty. We got serious.
I'm sorry.
Well, I don't think they're going to conquer America.
I don't think they are.
That's what I was getting to. I think the thing that the royal family hasn't grappled with is the ship has sailed on William and Kate. They don't gather enough press attention to change the negative narrative.
Well, and as long as, especially as long as there's kind of the whole two camps and it seems like William and Harry are at odds. And I still think that if they found some way to come back together and all, kind of coordinate and do things together, that maybe there'd be some... that's another reason why, to me, it's completely silly that they think that, they're going to come to the United States. They're not going to hang with Harry and Meghan. So it's just going to be more like, look, they don't want to talk to each other.
Well, but in their in their little palace that's insulated from everyone, I'm sure he has probably several advisors that are telling him, oh yeah, you're going to go to the United States and they're going to give you all this attention and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to make Harry look so bad and good for you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is I think Harry was in that world that kind of insulated, and the army helped a lot kind of get him out of there. And then Meghan came along with real world experience and somewhere else to go. But William has none of that.
Yeah.
He has aristo friends, aristo girlfriends, and advisors that I'm sure tell him every day that he's amazing and God's gift to this earth. Literally. I mean, they believe that in a literal sense, that they are God's gift to this earth.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't see how he breaks out of that in any meaningful way. There doesn't seem to be really a desire to. And even if he did, even if tomorrow he was like, you know what, I screwed this up. I haven't been working hard enough. Here are like my 4 big projects I'm working on. I'm gonna start showing up, 3 times a week. Kate's gonna be here too. Like, no one would care. That ship has sailed. It's gone.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, no, but I'm saying if it did, it's gone. It's gone.
Maybe.
The tabloids would love, like the UK would love it, but no, I mean, they lost 2 million viewers from an award show.
No, I know. I mean, it wouldn't happen overnight. I mean, I think they could fix things or get closer to fixing things, but it would take so many just complete 180s of anything they've been doing or are likely to do. And I mean, the whole, at least I hope, I mean, the Andrew stuff's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah. And, a lot of that stuff is just, they clearly just don't have good strategies, and it's going to hurt them, I think.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get paid family leave.
Well, that would be nice.
When William and Kate come to America and just blow our socks off. I do have to say, I tweeted this today, too. This whole, I say my name is Henry VIII on Twitter, which British people find very offensive, supposedly. And, they get all up in my grill about how, why do you care, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, we've gotten 4 things this week that just show how much William and Kate care about American media markets. Right.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Why do I care? They care.
Yeah. Well, they clearly do. And I mean, you either want. I mean, I don't think any of this is. If all of this was confined to Britain, or I mean, I suppose even the Commonwealth, no one would. I don't think that's what the royal family wants. No. I mean, they clearly want
to be famous in more than the UK, or they want to be known,
right,
globally. Right. That is important to them.
Right. Yes.
And I'm a member of that global community, and I'm telling them to screw off.
Well, right. And I mean, we live, 4 hours from Canada, I mean, so. And,
maybe they'll take over Canada.
Maybe.
You can have Canada, Will.
So, we're not far off from a Commonwealth country, and it seems to, it's just more back to the hypocrisy of the, we'll criticize Harry and Meghan, but then we want to be like them. We'll bash on Americans, but then we really want Americans and American media to pay attention to us.
Yes.
I mean,
it never stops.
It never stops.
All right, well, let's fingers crossed that this audio works.
Okay.
Fingers crossed?
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Woo! Bye.